found that the winners are aware of a certain place within. It's referred to as the higher self. And in this higher self, there's an image of perfection, which is forever attempting to express itself in a greater way. When the winner wants to turn their dreams into physical realities, they call on this higher self. Now, generally, when a person doesn't know how to do something, they say they can't do it. The truth is they can. You and I are capable of doing anything. We are God's greatest creation. We're spiritual beings. And as spiritual beings, we're able to do anything at all. All things are possible. Our objective is to figure out how, not whether we're able to or not. To properly deposit your winning image in the treasury of your subconscious mind, it's vitally important that you remember the first law of learning. It's repetition.
Hey Joe, how are you doing?
Very well, mate. Thank you very much for the time. Always a pleasure.
Listen, welcome. So my name is Mick McQuillan, and of course I'm here with my good friend Joey Younger in Australia. I'm here in Ireland. Now we're doing something a little bit different. Obviously, we've got the 16-week challenge, and of course we're maybe try and tie that into what we're doing here. But what we're doing is something a little bit different. So what we have is we've got the remastered Bob Proctor Born Rich seminar, the full 7 episodes. I'm going to follow it on YouTube. I'm going to encourage you to follow along, like, subscribe, and share. This is really about, personal development at its best. In my opinion, it's great. And I think Joey will agree with that. Joey, say hi, and we're going to get into this.
Hey, good day, everyone. Joye Maronga here from Sydney, Australia. Very grateful for this opportunity. And if you're watching this, welcome. We hope that we're going to add value. I think the video you're going to watch tonight or today, it's already full of abundance and prosperity to share with you. The episode, You Were Born Rich, we believe everyone is born rich. So, Mike, thank you for the time, and I'm looking forward for the episode tonight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too, and of course, look, you can watch along, or you can actually the link is in the description for the actual the full seminar. Now I'm probably going to download this at some stage and put it on the Freedom, Health and Lifestyle YouTube channel where there won't be any ads in it. There might be ads in this today, Joe, and what I'm going to do, if an ad pops up, just going to pause it, maybe we'll talk about it, I'll let it play in the background, get rid of the ad, and then we'll come back to it, okay? So just bear with me, everybody. If you're watching now or on the replay, look, we're not experts at this. We're just, we're just here to have a bit of fun and to learn something, right? This is about, ultimately what we're trying to do is look better, feel better, eat better, do better, and move better. Part of the process with that is about changing the way that you think, but even, to start off, understanding how you think. I was talking, Joey, just before we get started, I was talking to a young lady the other day, and she was so angry about her job. She hated her job and everything else. She was just so angry about it. And I was saying, I said, look, you've got so much passion. If we could just channel that passion into a different avenue, do you know what I mean? I said, I'm not trying to be a smart ass here, but this just came to me. I was saying, look, you're not going to change until you change your thinking. And it's not just about changing your thinking, it's about changing your feeling. And you start by changing your thinking. And when you change your thinking, your feelings don't like it, and they try and get you to change back. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's such a kind of difficult kind of space to be in. So I think, look, if you're watching along right now, or you're watching on the replay, give us a shout out, say hello. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share it with your friends. But again, sit down with a notebook, go back over this. You're really going to enjoy it, right? There's a lot in here, a lot. We're not going to get through it all today. So look, commit to joining us, around about the same time every Sunday. And of course, look, we're just going to have some fun with it. Right, Joe?
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right when you talk about changing your thinking. And I was reading a book today called How to Build Network Marketing Leaders. And, that the difference between leaders and the people who are not leaders is the leader change their thinking, and it's not, it's funny because it don't take a lot of effort to change your mind. It just, you just have to change the way you see things in life and the way you see yourself in life. So That's the program for tonight. We are here to pass it on to you, as our tribute to our coach and our mentor, Bob Proctor. Hopefully they will be adding value and help you to change your mind and change the way you're thinking about your life and abundance in your journey.
Brilliant, Joe. So we're going to get started with this seminar right now. This whole thing, we're starting about 5 minutes in, just after a few introductions and everything else. And Bob's really just going to start talking about, why you might want to do this course or follow this seminar, follow this program, or whatever you want to call it. And of course, we've got Bob Proctor and John Canary. Both of these people are amazing. I love them both. Do you know what I mean? John's got some really funny stories, as does Bob. But look, don't think that just because this is the introduction, there aren't any nuggets in here. There are some great nuggets in this, in this first part. Now, this first part is 2 hours long. We're not going to get 2 hours done today, right? We'll get to where we get to. We've only kind of scheduled in about an hour. We're already 5 minutes in. So I need to stop talking. Let's do it, Joe.
Let's do it.
We're going to get started with Robert.
All right. Well, I want to wish you a very warm welcome to our seminar here today. And we've got a special guest who is sitting at home. And we're inviting that person into our seminar, and they're going to experience everything you're going to experience. I know many of you have been through our seminars before. Some of you have never been through our seminars. But I think you'll find if you keep your mind wide open, just sit back and relax, you're going to find it a pretty interesting experience. I've often mentioned that we never give anybody a brain hernia with the information we use. It's all very simple, and it's very, very effective. I've spent a long time studying the subject of why we do what we do and why we don't do some of the things that we'd really like to do. And I've come to the conclusion that the two main elements in a successful, fulfilled life is motivation and education. And if we get a proper balance of motivation and education, we're going to find that we're going to be led into some very wise decisions that'll inspire us into some intelligent action, and we will live a very, very fulfilled life. What I would like to suggest you do is flip to page 2 in your action planner. Take your action planner and turn to page 2. Some time ago, John Canary gave me a little piece of literature about getting out of the comfort zone that was written by Bob Riggs in southern Florida. And there's some excellent information in here. Many of us are pretty comfortable in our life. We've got a reasonably good income. The mortgage is paid. There's food in the fridge. We've got a nice warm bed to sleep in. And everything seems to be floating along just fine. And a person in that position could very easily think, why would I want to do anything to change this? Well, we have found that if your life is not going in one direction, it absolutely, by law, must be moving in another direction. And Riggs is talking about that here. He said, many of us have established a comfort zone in our lives. We're just coasting along, taking the line of least resistance, just getting by. Now, he said this is a very common and understandable attitude. We've all worked hard to get to where we are, and it may seem a very good place to be. The problem with this is that once we stop reaching, stretching, seeking, and risking, we actually stop growing. Now, Riggs goes on to say that the comfort zone frame of mind is settling for what we are today. That may be fine today, but without continued growth, and I believe this is the key line coming up, we are now all we are ever going to be. Now, for me, that would be a fairly disturbing thought. He went on to say, if you're in a comfort zone, beware. The danger of a comfort zone is that it doesn't hurt, and it might even feel good. Many take that to mean it's a good place to be, but it's not. A comfort zone may be what is holding you back from real growth, real accomplishment, and your potentially exciting and rewarding future. Now, I've mentioned if we're not going in one direction, we must by law be going in another direction. You're either creating or you're disintegrating. Whenever we hear a person say, I like it just the way it is, we know that person is advertising their ignorance of a very basic law of life, because absolutely nothing stays the way it is. Now, if you'll take a look at the top of page 2, there is a concept there by Sidney Herbert Wood, and it's the test of an educated person. I think many of us have had a false concept programmed into our mind with respect to education. We, I think, have been raised to believe that education is going to school for a certain number of years and be able to correctly answer a series of questions. But, you know, many people will go to school all their life and be able to correctly answer the questions. But then when it comes to getting out into the marketplace and really making it happen, they just don't know how to compete. Many are withdrawn. They don't even feel comfortable meeting or greeting a stranger. Well, Wood said the test of an educated person is, can I entertain a new idea? Now, I think you know, and I know, that if we're going to improve, we have to have a very open mind. I once heard that an open mind was being prepared to throw away some of our most cherished beliefs when a better idea comes along. Now, you'll find that the vast majority of people seems to back into the future, dragging all of their old experience with them. When they're confronted with a new idea, they ask, does it fit? If it doesn't, then they say it's wrong. Now, what we want to do is ask ourselves, would this new idea improve the quality of my life, or would it get me going in the other direction? Can I entertain a new idea? Today and tomorrow, you're going to be asked to entertain many new ideas, but every one of the ideas that we're going to share with you are going to be positive, they're going to be creative, they're going to be constructive, and they'll definitely improve the quality of your life. Then we see the second one, can I entertain another person? Now, there's many people that would feel totally uncomfortable walking up to a stranger and just saying, hi, how are you today? Pleased to meet you, Jan. Now, do you know some people, when it comes to meeting a person, their head is down, their hand is wet, they're shaking inside, their heart is pounding, and they only do it because they really have to. They would just as soon pull away from the new person. Now, that individual has not learned.
We all want to find a dream job that's enjoyable and meaningful.
Hey, Joe, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so obviously there's just popped into an ad. That's fine. You can just play in the background there. I've just muted it. But what are your thoughts so far about what you've been listening to?
Man, I couldn't believe every time I listen to it, I learn something new about myself. And I think, Bob used to say, when you read a good book, first time and you read it the second time, you can see something different in you. And it's exactly the same. I already feel one note of, notebook, writing down the notes so far. First of all, if you listen to this, if you're watching this, the first things I learned from Bob is come with an open mind. Come with an open mind, wide open, because the thing that you are going to listen to it tonight and learn tonight is very simple, but it's very effective. And I kind of like see a successful formula there. Success is when you have motivation plus education. When you have the drive, the hungry, the desire, plus you want to learn more about what you don't know about life, about yourself, about your mind, it will make a big impact in your life. Life can be, two things that I learned so far: creating, either we creating or disintegrate, which mean either we, create something or we just dismantle everything. So, I like how he used to say it, when we think about the new idea, always ask question. And, when you ask question, it help you, define your purpose. If for example, if you want to, achieve more in life, or we want to become success in your career, That's idea, and that idea you have to ask the question: is this idea can help to improve the quality of my life? And the last one that or the two last one that I noticed, with any idea, ask a question that can I entertain this idea? Can I entertain this idea? And I think you talk about a lot about our previous episode. When you think about something like a marriage, or something that's coming in the future with the 16-week challenge, try to entertain that idea. How do you want to look, feel, and show up, turn up? How you want people to find you on that occasion. How, the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you turn up, the way your brand is. And the last one is Bob say something about, can I entertain another person? So we all have great idea in life, but I think you and I, our goal is to educate people to understand what we're doing, the business that we involve, the community that we involve. And that's what we're here. We're here to educate people and understand that there's a better way. There's a better way of earn income, multiple source of income. A lot of people, they haven't heard about multiple source of income, but because we found that idea and we entertained by that idea, so we want to pass it on to people. So to entertain other people, our job is to educate people to understand. Thank you.
Brilliant, Joey. No, you're absolutely right. Look, I suppose, we'll get back into this, right? Because there's just so much in this, and everything you've said there, there's so much to take on. There's so much to take in, especially when you're talking about being in a comfort zone, and, and actually, being in a comfort zone is actually a warning. You don't want to be in that comfort zone. Do you know what I mean? Because you're not fulfilling your potential, that potential lifestyle that you could have. Whether it's looking better, feeling better, eating better, doing better, moving better, whatever it is, I don't care. When you're in that comfort zone, you're stuck. You're just stuck. It might feel good, but the truth is, it means that you're not moving. You're going backwards. Do you know what I mean? You're treading water. You're just stationary. And everything else is going to change around you. You have the potential to change things for yourself. And I would encourage you to do that. But look, let's get into this, because, it's not about Joey and I talking. It's really about listening to Bob and listening to John Canary. And I'm excited for these next several weeks, because it's going to take us several weeks. So look, the link is in the description. Click on that link, watch it through the week, and then we can discuss it at the weekend, right? We can have a catch up at the weekend. So let's get back into this, Joe.
If anything, about themselves, because we should feel totally comfortable meeting anyone, anywhere, at any time. And then he asks, can I entertain myself? Well, many people are not able to entertain themselves. I spent half my life not being able to entertain myself. I always had to be around someone else. It was always, come on, let's have a party. I absolutely hated being alone. And that was because I really didn't like myself. Now, I have found through studying the ideas that we're going to cover here over the next couple of days, we can develop into very interesting and reasoning companions. Most of the time that we live, we do spend with ourselves. And you're going to find that some of the very best conversations you ever have are going to be with yourself. I get so excited about some of mine, I talk right out loud. That draws, a strange look from people from time to time. But you get such great ideas going in your mind that you just can't help it. Now, here in the first paragraph, we say that this program, You Were Born Rich, is based on the premise that you have rich resources lying dormant within you. I have heard many people laugh when they take a look at our program or take a look at the title of the book, Born Rich. You see, they think that means that you've been born into great wealth. Some people are, but some people are not. But everyone, without exception, has been born with tremendous resources lying within them. We've got deep reservoirs of talent and ability. And through following right rules and natural laws, we're going to find that we can draw that potential to the surface and we can bring it to bear, and it will cause the manifestation of prosperity in our material world. Now, in almost all the seminars that either John or myself does, we take and we put an R here in the board. Now, what I would like to suggest you do is you let that R represent the results that you're getting in your life. Now, there's three areas that we're going to suggest that you focus on. One is happiness, one is health, and another one is material wealth. Now, when I first started to study this material, I was not happy, I was not healthy, and I definitely was not wealthy. I had a chap sit down with me, and he saw something in me that I obviously wasn't capable of seeing in myself. His name was Raymond Stanford, Raymond Douglas Stanford. In fact, I named my son after him, Raymond Douglas Proctor. And Ray looked at me and he said, Bob, let this here represent results that you're getting in your life. Then he asked me if I thought he was a happy person. And I said, yeah, thought he was. He said, have you ever seen me sick? And I had to admit I hadn't. He said, have you ever seen me when I was broke? And again, I had to admit I hadn't. Well, he proceeded to tell me that he thought I was one of the most miserable people he had ever met. Well, and you know, it was true. I was an unhappy human being. He said, you're always sick. Now, I didn't have a terminal illness, but I always had a headache or a cold or a backache or something. And he pointed at the area of money. He said, you're always broke. He said, you're forever trying to hit somebody up for a couple of dollars for gas. Now, if I was to put this in proper perspective for you, I was earning $4,000 a year at the time, and I owed $6,000. So do you see, I wasn't really interested in being happy or healthy at the time. I figured if I could just get this money problem straightened out, everything was going to be great. He proceeded to tell me that there were certain laws governing happiness, and if you follow them, you can just keep getting happier and happier. That sounded a little foreign to me, but that was his opinion. And he pointed out that you and I have an ingenious system built within us to keep our body in excellent working order. And then when he talked about the area of money, he said, you know, he said, there's exact laws governing wealth. And he pointed out, he said, this stuff cannot talk, but it can hear. And he said, if you call it, it'll come. Well, I can assure you, I was ready to yell at the top of my lungs. I mean, if there was anything I wanted, it was some money. I figured it would take the heat off for a little while. Ray suggested that I go out and buy this book. It's Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. And, you know, he said there's a secret in this book. And he said, if you can find the secret in the book, you can have anything you seriously want. Now, you take a person that's unhappy, not very healthy, is in debt, you'd have a difficult time accepting that. I was 26, and I just couldn't accept the idea. But as Ray said, your way's not working. Why don't you try his? And that's what I'd like to suggest to you today. If you're not getting the results you want, your way obviously isn't working. Why don't you try ours? Now, I often mention that John and I have got license to brag about every idea we use because none of them are ours. We don't claim that we've originated these ideas. In fact, we openly admit we haven't. We've just gathered them from books here and seminars there and great teachers all over the world. And what we've done is put them together in an organized, coherent manner. So if your way is not giving you the results you want, I would suggest that you take a real serious look at these ideas. Now, I looked for the secret and I couldn't find it, but I found in one place here, he said, a peculiar thing about this secret is that those who once acquire it and use it find themselves literally swept on to success with but little effort, and they never again submit to failure. What a marvelous promise. He said, if you doubt this, study the names of those who have used it, wherever they've been mentioned. Check their records for yourself, and you'll be convinced. Now, he lists upwards of 100 names here. He's got Henry Ford, William Wrigley, James J. Hill, George Eastman, Theodore Roosevelt. He goes on here, John D. Rockefeller, Thomas Edison, Luther Burbank, Woodrow Wilson. How could I relate to any of those people? I couldn't relate to them. But you see, in that first part, he said, check their names or check their records wherever they've been mentioned. So I did that. And I got out books on Edison.
Every single trader that's taken the FTMO challenge.
So, Joe, obviously, there's just another ad running in the background. So we can just kind of let that play and we'll just have a quick conversation about what you've been listening to. So he's talking about the book, Think and Grow Rich. Of course, you know, we've got a copy of it here. You know, it's a good book. Look at you. Now, I suppose, look, what I'll do is I'll get a link for the description so that we can maybe put one up there so that people can get it if they want it. But again, you know, it's interesting. it's just an interest, what he's talking about here is just, sometimes it can, when you're hearing it, it just makes so much sense, that, you have to educate yourself. You have to think outside. It's not about thinking outside of the box, because I think it's almost impossible to think outside the box unless you're reading something or learning something new, because you tend not to have new thoughts or new creative ideas unless you're being inspired by something or someone or something else, That's just my opinion. People can disagree with that, and that's okay. We're allowed to have different opinions. But look, should we just get back to it, right? Because I don't want to bore people to death with my commentary, right? But look, let's just let it play.
Books on Woodrow Wilson and all the great people that he had mentioned here. And you know what I found? I found they were no different than you. They were no different than me. Many of them had very little formal education, which made me feel fairly comfortable because I didn't either. Many of them had very, very rough roads to start on. But I found out we're essentially all the same. Do you know what was different? The results they were getting. And as I studied on here further, in his chapter on persistence, and he mentions that persistence to the quality or to the character of the human being is like what carbon is to steel. He said the only thing that he could find in Edison or Ford that he never found in everyone else was persistence. They'd get a hold of an idea and they'd stick with that idea. And I look back in my own life and I never did that. I'd try something a couple of times, and if it was rough, I quit. I'd have people saying, "Oh, Bob, why don't you just give it up?" I'd say, "Yeah, you're right," and I would. Now, you see, the people I was mixing with, they were losing too. I never stuck at anything. So I made up my mind, if I ever found this secret, I'd work it right until I died. Now, I did find the secret. It was in 100 different places in the book, and it was simply sit down, decide what you want, write it on a card, carry the card in your pocket, and read it as often as possible every day. Now, keep in mind, I was earning $4,000, I owed $6,000. I was sitting in a fire hall at the time, and I wrote on the card that I was going to have in my possession by New Year's Day of 1970, $25,000. Now, I wrote that on the card in 1960. The idea of having $25,000, it was sort of a fantasy. I don't think there was $25,000 in the whole fire hall at the time. Now, I wrote that in the card in 1960. Keep in mind, I gave myself a decade to pull this deal off. I really didn't believe it was going to happen. But I found out a couple of things. I found if you write a lie on a card and you read it often enough, you're going to start to believe it. And William James, back around the turn of the century, he said, believe, and your belief will actually create the fact. Well, I did what he suggested. I read this card every day. I'd carry it around and I'd just keep reading it. And one day, one of the guys in the fire hall got a hold of it and they pulled the card away and they passed it all around. Everybody started to laugh. Proctor's going to get rich. I had a chap in a seminar the other day that he said the same thing had happened to him. He was in a seminar and he got one of these gold cards and they passed it around at work and he said, everybody laughed at me, but he said, I'm winning. Now, I didn't read the card in front of anyone any longer, but I kept reading it. I'd go to the bathroom, and I'd sit in the toilet, lock the door, and I'd read the card. Or I'd be driving down the street, and I'd come to a traffic light, and I'd haul the card out, and I'd read it. Now, something very funny happened to me. 1 year later, I was earning $175,000 a year. Now, that's an enormous change, and it went well beyond $1 million in a year. Now, that was not supposed to happen. See, everything I'd been taught since I was a little boy indicated that if you don't go to school, you can't win. If you don't have business experience, you can't win. I had not gone to school. My second month in high school, they asked me to leave. I'll never forget how happy I was when they made that decision. As I look back, they were probably much happier than I was when they made that decision. But here I was. I was 16. I had very little knowledge. I had absolutely no skills. And at the very best, my attitude was poor. What chance did I have? I really didn't have any, but I didn't know that. And so I just bummed around from job to job, in and out of the Navy, in and out of factories, in and out of bars, mostly in and out of bars, until I was 26. Here I was at 26 when Ray sat down with me. I had very little knowledge, absolutely no skills, and my attitude had not improved greatly. But he introduced me to this idea, and I found that it doesn't matter what's happened in the past. You may not have a colorful background, and maybe you have. You may not have a lot of formal education, and maybe you have. But it really doesn't matter If you've got a goal and you're willing to stick to it and study the laws, you're going to find out that you can win. Now, that was like an emotional impact. And I had to find out what happened to me. And so I made up my mind that someone had either written in a book or they were talking about it. And I made up my mind I'd read every book that was ever written if I had to. And I'm going to tell you, I have one of the finest libraries on personal development, psychology, the area of the mind that you're going to find anywhere. And I don't just mean library of books, I mean library of tapes and records. And I would travel anywhere in the world that I heard of a good seminar to find out more about myself, find out more about you, find out what makes us tick. And you know a strange thing? I found as I studied me, I understood you better, because we are essentially all the same. And that's just sort of the way it works. This seminar is nothing but the culmination of all that study. But it wasn't just study. It was a lot of practice, a lot of painstaking study, and an awful lot of experience. And John and I have seen great changes take place in our own life, but better still, we've seen phenomenal changes take place in the lives of the thousands and countless thousands of people that have studied these seminars. We've done these seminars as far away as Takapuna, New Zealand. We've done them all over the United States, every state in the United States. And we've done them all across Canada. People in England are studying this right now. As a matter of fact, this book, Born Rich, is being read in Russia right now. That's a fair distance away from here, and it's a lot different philosophy than most people in that country are used to. Now, we point out here that material wealth is a normal and a natural state for you to live in. Intellectual comprehension, come down to the third paragraph on page 2. It's vitally important. Intellectual comprehension of this program is not difficult. In a relatively short period of time, you will be prepared to correctly answer a battery of questions about this Born Rich program. If you read it, memorize it, you could answer almost any question in it. But that doesn't mean that you're going to win. You could very quickly say, I know. Someone mentioned something, we'll say, I know. I know somebody that says that all the time. Doesn't matter what you say to her. Vera says, I know. All right. Now, knowing and doing are poles apart. And I point out in 2 or 3 places in the book that reading and memorizing are not going to make you successful. It's the understanding and then the application of wise thoughts that count. You must understand the idea and you must go out and act on the idea, regardless of how much your old program wants to hold you back. You've got to bust out of that shell and do the thing that you've got to do. Now, John Ruskin here gives us an excellent concept on education. He said, education does not mean teaching people what they do not know. It means
So, Joe, just getting back to, he was talking about goals there just for a moment. He's talking about the Think and Grow Rich. And look, if you've got a copy of Think and Grow Rich, in chapter 4, under auto suggestion, you can find a copy of the Chief Aim Statement that you can write out for yourself. This is the Chief Aim Statement, your ultimate goal that you want to achieve. And of course, you want to go through this, read it morning and night. Joey has one right in front of him. I'm sure he could just put his hand on it and wave it up there. So, look, if you don't have a copy of this book, Think and Grow Rich, get one, because a lot of this stuff is going to be covered in here. It's worth reading. And again, watch this video again. You can find it on Facebook, you can find it on YouTube. It's on Joey's channel, it'll be on my channel. But watch it again, watch it all week, study this stuff, because there's a lot of information in here, right, Joe?
Absolutely, Mike. I do have a PDF copy. If someone reach out to you and myself, I'll send you the copy to Mike, so that if someone reach out to you, so we can email them, and we just get there.
Send it to me, Joe, and what I'll do is I'll put a link to it in the description, where people can just download it. But look, that book is just a great book, right?
Yeah, amazing book.
Yes,
I sent it to my sister, and I think she's a reader when we grew up, and she thanked me every time. She said to me, for all the books that I read, apart from the Bible, this is my second best book and favorite book. So, I'm very grateful, because I just paid forward what Bob has done. marvelous work, and that's the whole idea. He's passed on now. God bless him, but I think that's his legacy. He will live on because we pass on his work to other people too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, look, we're just going to take a quick break just for the moment, and when we get back, we're just going to remind you about the MSI Lifestylers.academy Facebook group and how you can find out more about that. But again, listen, look, we'll see you in just 1 second. Okay, Joe. So I just want to share this tab. Hold on a sec. Let me see. Can I do this? Doesn't look like it. And okay. So obviously, Joey and I are attached to the MSI Lifestylers Academy, and really, this is where you can look. The person that you're looking at on that screen is Bob Proctor's wife, Linda Proctor. She is one of our mentors, and of course, we're very privileged and grateful to be connected with the people within this organization. And it's really about stretching your mind and creating the lifestyle that you really, really want. Not just the lifestyle, but the life. I call it freedom, health, and lifestyle. Freedom, being able to do the things that you want to do when you want to do them with who you want to do them with, like being now with Joey on this doing this thing right now. And then, of course, health. Health for me is about 3 things. It's about physical health. So being active, being able to move around. It's about mental health, not just thinking positive, but feeling positive. Both of these things combined and matching those things up together. And then, of course, financial, health. You want to have some money. You want to have multiple sources, create multiple sources of income. How do you do that? Well, you learn about that here in this group. And of course, when it comes to lifestyle, then it's not just about buying nice things. It's about living a lifestyle filled with purpose. What difference could you make in your community? What difference could you make for family, for friends? For those people that you really, really care about. What difference could you make for you? And of course, Bob always says, if you want to be free, you've got to be me. Not the me that your mum wants you to be, or your dad wants you to be, or your sisters, or your siblings, or your friends, or your partner, or your wife, but the you that you want to be. This is so important, okay? And the MSI Lifestylers Academy can help, get you there. But again, look, as Bob says, if your way's not working, why not try ours? And ours is Bob's way, right? So, what are your thoughts on this, Joe?
MSI Lifestyle?
Absolutely, and the little black book.
Yeah. This community, it's funny because when we heard about the MSI multiple source of income, I like how Bob using it. You have one bank account, but all the finance, the money, will come from different source. Which means in a different country, different economy. But I think it's come down to the platform and the professional that we are in the network marketing. It's we are building a global network that life-changing and transformation product going through, move through that network or organization. And you and I are part of that. We enjoy every week that we have some fun coming to our bank account, and we blessed with it. And we want more people to be mind open and check it out. Because if they are open and do the work, they will enjoy the same thing that we enjoy. And this is the community. You have the mentor, you have the leadership, and you have the people like Mike and myself that we are on a journey together. And Mike mentioned before, you are a business for yourself, but you are not by yourself. Because you always, and that's the good thing about MSI or network marketing professional. is the leverage. You are not doing the work by yourself 100% to get to earn what you're worth, but you leverage. You have other people working with you, and you are compensate for helping and developing other people too.
It's true. So right, Joe. I would encourage anybody to go to the MSI Lifestylers website, msilifestylers.academy, and of course watch the video at the beginning. It's the opportunity to live video from Bob. Great video. Download the little black book that Bob talks about. Mention in the when you're downloading it, mention where you heard about it. Just put Joey and Mike or Joey and Mick in the comments, and of course download that little black book, watch the video, and again then join the Facebook group, where you can learn more about what we do, how we do it, what works really, really well, and avoid some of those, mistakes that maybe Joey and I made. We're not perfect, like we all make mistakes. But again, as Bob says, this is about intelligent action, taking intelligent action. If you're not living the way you want to live, well, then maybe, as Bob says, give our way a try. It could be the difference for you. All right. Okay, so let's get back to this. What do you reckon, Joe? We'll get back to it?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Let's go.
Them, showing them, leading them to behave as they do not behave. Now, the compensation that you're going to receive for following the ideas that you're going to be studying for the next couple of days is absolutely incredible. I could do nothing but keep expressing great ideas when I talk about the good that can come to you. You can do anything you want. You can have anything you want by following these ideas. Now, I choose to believe that every one of you wants something. Way down deep inside of you is a dream. And every now and then that dream floats to the surface of your conscious mind. And when it does, you quickly push it out and you say, I can't do that. Now, the truth is you can, you just don't know how. And if you can get that straight in your mind, I'm going to tell you, you busted out. Now, Vernon Howard one time pointed out in a magnificent book, Mystic Path to Cosmic Power, you cannot escape from a prison if you don't know you're in one. You cannot escape from a prison if you don't know you're in one. Well, I think we're all in one to some degree. But that dream you've got that comes to your mind, I would suggest you look at it real carefully. I was given a cassette tape by a gentleman in a seminar that we were conducting a couple of years ago, and it was a copy of a speech made by a minister out of Minneapolis. And there were a couple of lines in that tape that were absolutely incredible. He said, the saddest thing when he's officiating at a funeral is not the death of the body, but the death of all the dreams. It's that house you were going to build and never built. Maybe that car you were going to get, never got. That trip you were going to take and never took. The business you were going to start and build, but never did. Well, the saddest thing is not the death of the body, but it is the death of all the dreams. We've got to do what's inside of us. Let's not go to the grave with the music still in us. Now, as we go through this seminar, John's coming on in a minute to lead you through the part about proper use of the seminar. But as we go through it, understand this. If you do not direct all of the information you're going to hear towards a specific end, the information will probably be rendered useless. So what I would suggest you do, as John's coming up here, just jot down in shorthand, in your book, anywhere on a blank space, that's something that you want. And look at the quote on the bottom of page 2. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, do the thing.
Joe, would you mind if we watched that little bit again, right? Because there was just so many little bits of nuggets in there, right? And I think that, and I would encourage anybody to go back and watch this again, but there was like 2 or 3 little things that he said there. And then I just wanted to, and then I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Let me just go back a little bit. Yeah, this is just, like I could keep going back. Let's just start here.
Them, showing them, leading them to behave as they do not behave. Now, the compensation that you're going to receive for following the ideas that you're going to be studying for the next couple of days is absolutely incredible. I could do nothing but keep expressing great ideas when I talk about the good that can come to you. You can do anything you want. You can have anything you want by following these ideas.
Right. Did you hear that, Joe?
Yep.
You can do anything you want. You can have anything you want by following these ideas. Now, if that doesn't set up what's to come and how you could change your life, you know, to be honest, I think we're about to get our arse kicked there over the next few weeks listening to this, right?
It's so powerful, you know, and at the very end of that part, he mentioned, you know, going to a funeral. Going to a funeral, the sad thing about a funeral is not the death of the body, but the death of the dream that person didn't accomplish in life.
Absolutely.
You know,
well, let's listen to that. Let's listen to that bit.
Now, I choose to believe that every one of you wants something. Way down deep inside of you is a dream. And every now and then that dream floats to the surface of your conscious mind. And when it does, you quickly push it out and you say, I can't do that. Now, the truth is you can, you just don't know how. And if you can get that straight in your mind, I'm going to tell you, you busted out. Now, Vernon Howard one time pointed out in a magnificent book, Mystic Path to Cosmic Power, you cannot escape from a prison if you don't know you're in one. You cannot escape from a prison if you don't know you're in one. Well, I think we're all in one to some degree. But that dream you've got that comes to your mind, I would suggest you look at it real carefully. I was given a cassette tape by a gentleman in a seminar that we were conducting a couple of years ago, and it was a copy of a speech made by a minister out of Minneapolis. And there were a couple of lines in that tape that were absolutely incredible. He said the saddest thing when he's officiating at a funeral is not the death of the body, but the death of all the dreams. It's that house you were going to build and never built. Maybe that car you were going to get, never got. That trip you were going to take and never took. The business you were going to start and build, but never did. Well, the saddest thing is not the death of the body, but it is the death of all the dreams. We've got to do what's inside of us. Let's not go to the grave with the music still in us. Now, as we go through this seminar.
All right, Joe, go on. Talk about, there was two parts there, right? He talked about you can't escape from a prison if you don't know you're in one. And, you know, death of all the dreams. Tell me give me your thoughts on those things.
Yeah, he was absolutely right, you know, and he mentioned that, you know, we all have our own prison in life, you know, whether it's a, you know, financial prison, you know, health prison, you know, lifestyle prison, and, you know, but you can't escape that until you develop the idea and awareness that you are in one, you know. A lot of people, they want to escape a prison, but they don't know they're currently in a prison, and they have to find a way out from that prison. And you know, it's a great teaching and encouragement for each and every one of us to start to realize, start to wake up, open your mind, because you are currently living in a, and you and I know that. We realize that we are in a financial and, you know, prison in life, and you know, we're doing work from 5 to 9, and you and I keep talking about it because one day we want to break free from that prison, and we want to live the lifestyle that we want to live, instead of you know, someone control us, you know, tell us what to do. We just want to do, you know, we just want to be free, you know. And to be free, you have to study yourself so that you can understand how you can get out of the current situation that you are. Someone mentioned in the book before that I read, you know, a lot of people, they're currently stuck in a circumstance. But someone said, for me, I create the circumstance. You know, I don't look for circumstances. I create my own circumstances. I create my own freedom in life. I create my own future my own career in life. So and the death of the dream, that's a very sad one. When I hear that, that's why I'm, I keep my faith, I keep my persistence, because I know I want to leave a legacy. I wanna travel more. I wanna, help more people. I wanna, charity, build more houses or something like that. There's a lot of dream, and it's funny. He mentions the dream is the music that play within us. And some people, they go to the grave with the music still playing. They never want to play and share with other people. So it's very powerful when we think about it. Like he actually said, if you come with an open mind, listen to this and watch this and study this, it's very simple, but it's very essential and effective down on the track for your future and your career.
Yeah, brilliant, Joey. It is, to be honest, and it is, some of this is hard to listen to as well, right? Like we're fortunate because maybe we've listened to it before, but if you're listening to this for the first time, some of this might just be like a kick in the teeth, because you might be waking up to the potential that you have inside of you and wondering why you didn't know about this before. I don't know why they don't teach this stuff in schools, but this stuff, can actually make a real difference in your life. But once you realize that, that you're in a prison in your mind is in a prison, and those people who control the media and everything else like that will probably get banned off YouTube for this now. Do you know what I mean? You can't have those free thoughts. We're almost told what to think, not, we're told what to think, not how to think. And once you kind of realize that, your mind expands exponentially because there's so much freedom in that, the freedom in expression, freedom in thought, that you don't have to believe everything that you see and hear. Just as you were saying, Joe, you can create your own reality. You can create your own circumstances. You're so right, Joe. This is why I just enjoy doing these with you, because you've just got so much wisdom. You just know, it's not that I'm not saying that you're an expert in it, but you're an expert in you. You know you better than anybody else. And that's all you're doing. You're talking about you. I'm just talking about me. And hopefully, people can, expand their mindset and know that they can have whatever it is that they want. They just have to, apply the information. Apply the information that you're learning, apply it in your life, apply it into your thoughts. Intelligent action. Started off with motivation and education, and then intelligent action. I must see if I can find a copy of the action planner as well for this. It'd be good to have, right? I wonder, could I speak to Linda and maybe she might have a version of that? That would be great, right? To have that for this course. That's the action planner that's referring to in the seminar, where they're saying turn to page 2, check the quote.
I got the workbook.
Yeah.
Let me try to find it.
Where'd you get that?
Hey,
where did you get that?
I got the check. I paid the full price.
Right. I'll have to. Is there a PDF version of that?
I believe so. Let me look it up and I'll send it to you.
What book is that? That's not the Born Rich book, is it? Because obviously you can get a copy of the Born Rich book, but you've got a copy of the actual action planner.
How can I want to change the background so you can see properly. It's the actual planner.
Okay. All right.
It's the workbook. The workbook is the workbook.
We'll try and get that for anybody that wants it. All right. What we'll do. So I think, Joe, what we'll do is that we'll just finish off with Bob introducing John Canary, and then we'll start from there next week, right?
Absolutely. Great.
All right. Let's do that.
John's coming on in a minute to lead you through the part about proper use of the seminar. But as we go through it, understand this. If you do not direct all of the information you're going to hear towards a specific end, the information will probably be rendered useless. So what I would suggest you do, as John's coming up here, just jot down in shorthand, in your book, anywhere on a blank space, that's something that you want. And look at the quote on the bottom of page 2. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, do the thing and you'll get the energy to do the thing. Do the thing and you'll get the energy to do the thing. Don't wait. Start right now, whether you're ready or not. Just say, I'm going after it. I'm going to get it. And your present circumstances got nothing to do with where you're going. Later on in the book here, you're going to find that there's a quote by a magnificent author. He said, your circumstances may be uncongenial right now, but they will not long remain so if you perceive an ideal and strive to reach it. Now think of that. You may not have much money. Your social life may be in a bit of a chaotic state. Maybe your business isn't going the way you'd really want it to go. He said, your circumstances may be uncongenial, but they will not long remain so if you perceive an ideal and strive to reach it. Now, flip over to the next page, and I'm going to invite John back on to lead you through how to get the proper use out of this program. And I don't suppose there's a better guy that I know to be able to do that, because I watched John start, and there's a story of him in Born Rich. I watched John start from ground zero and just keep making headway. John Canary learned how to use the ideas in this program so well that he's a very competent teacher of the ideas today.
So, Joe, I'm excited now, really, to hear John now next week, right? I am, because John's got some really funny stories, and if you've not seen this before, you're going to like the story that he tells. Actually, it's really, really funny. But when Bob was talking there, it just popped this thought into my mind, with action with the end in mind. So whatever action that you're taking, you've got to have the end in mind. What is the end? Well, the end is the goal. What is the goal? What is the goal that you want to achieve? And then every action that you take is either going to lead you closer or further from that goal. It's like my rule number one, with the 16-week challenge. Rule number one, eat what you want whenever you like, in the understanding that it's either going to move you closer or further from your goal. So, your actions must be in line with your goal. And if they're not, and that's why, in chapter 4 of Think and Grow Rich on auto suggestion, your chief aim statement is worth, writing down. It's worth writing down. It's worth reading it. Auto suggestion can really, really help to change your personal reality, change and manifest, the things in your life that you want. So, Joe, I want to get your final thoughts, not thoughts, all right? And then we'll play out with our favorite video. It's the one we play out every week. But just before we go, obviously go to the MSI Lifestylist.academy website. There is a opportunity presentation on Monday, 4 p.m. Standard Eastern Time. Reach out to Joey or myself. In fact, let me just put up. Okay, so begin your better. Email Joey, joeyunger32@gmail.com, or email Mike at mpmcquillan.com. And of course, we can invite you along to that Zoom call so that you can find out more about what we do, how we do it, what works really, really well. Introduce you to some of our friends and mentors and people who are really leading the way. And of course, putting a lot of time and effort into helping others get what they want out of life. And that's really what it's about. Joey, you've mentioned it a dozen times already. It's about giving back, paying it forward. But again, look, as Bob says, tell me what you want and we'll show you how to get it. And that's really what we're trying to do here, right? And it doesn't matter what it is. We're just here to help. So like, subscribe, share, email Joey for more information, email myself for more information, get an invite to the call on, to the Zoom on Monday night, Joey's early Monday morning, right? And look, we're excited to see you. So Joe, wind it up for me and we'll play out with our favorite video.
Thank you very much, Mike. Always a pleasure. I know having this conversation with you, adding values, and try to help people along the way. I just have to remind the comfort zone. We already established our own comfort zone, and once we stop reaching, stretching, seeking, and risking, we actually stop growing. Without continued growth, we are all we are ever going to be. So keep growing, everyone. Thank you for watching. We are so proud of you. You're always welcome to tag along. Come in and learn with us. We hope that we add value to you. Do the thing, and you will get the energy to do the things. That's Ralph Waldo Emerson to close our meeting for tonight. Thank you very much, everyone. I love you all.
You see,
Thanks,
we are
Mike.
created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. Now, do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, by God, I'm going to change something. I always say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now, all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your stem. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind waken the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.